Okay guys, so welcome to the LED TV stand assembly. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take panel number 3. It's going to have the pre-drilled hole for the legs. There's going to be 5 legs in the set. We're going to take screws. So there's going to be 2 screws in the hardware box. So we need to use the smaller one, not this one, because if you use this one, it's going to go through the surface. And we're going to attach the 5 legs. Okay, once the legs have been assembled and put together, we're going to flip the panel over and we're going to put the wooden pegs in their smaller holes. So there's going to be 6 of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we're going to take the screws and we're going to put them into these holes. Again, there's going to be 6 screws for this panel. I thought I would mention how to install the screws because I feel like some people won't be able to figure this out. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually push the screw down. This way the plastic is going to go all the way in. And then we're going to use the drill or the screwdriver to run it all the way in. Nothing too complicated. Okay, so the next step is to grab panels number 6, 7, and 8. First is going to be panel number 8. We're going to put it onto the panel number 3 that we just installed the screws and the pegs and the legs onto. So key thing to remember is that the pre-cut holes are supposed to be facing down. Just don't mix up the panel size because otherwise it just won't make sense. Now we're gonna secure them with the round locks, one for each side. There we go. Excellent. Okay, so now so this part is going to be a little bit more complicated, and again feel free to use the paper manual because it's as good as the video instructions. Just I found that this is going to be the quickest, most efficient way to assemble, so you can either follow the paper manual or you can just take my advice and do it this way. Again, so we're going to take panel number 6 and 7. We're gonna flip it on the I'm assuming this is gonna be the outside, right? So this is gonna be the inside part, and now we're gonna install the brackets for the glass. Again, just pay attention that they're facing up. Once again, it's panel number 6 and panel number 7, and it's facing up. Yep, now we're gonna put it onto panel number 3. There we go. Yep. As my partner's pointing, the slits must align. Again, you have to make sure you don't mix up the panels because if you install it in reverse, then you won't be able to put the back panel onto here. Okay, so now that we installed panels number 6, 8, and 7, again, so these are gonna be the glass holders. They have to be on the outside. Again, make sure you don't mix up the panels. We secured each panel with a lock on the bottom. There we go. And we have the slits aligned for the back panel. Now we're gonna grab it. Let me see if I can do it with my one hand. And we're gonna put this in. There we go. Beauty. Next step is to install the tracks for the drawers. Okay, so we gotta make sure that the wheel is facing down. And we're gonna use hole number 1, 2, 3, 4. And then hole number 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we're just gonna make sure that it's aligned with the front. It doesn't really matter which hole you use, because on the one on panel number 8, it's gonna be hole number 1, and then hole number 2. They're using different holes for this size because if we use the same holes for both tracks, they're just gonna go straight through. That's why they have to use different ones, so that there wouldn't just be one hole going through the panel. 4, 4, and we got 4 and 4. Okay, next one is going to be panel number 2. We're going to do exactly the same thing as with panel number 3. We're going to install the 6 screws. We're going to install the 6 pegs. But with this panel, we're actually going to install the pegs directly into the side panels. Reason being is because if you put them here, when you flip the panel over and try to install it, they're going to fall out. So they're going to go on the inside, into the inside holes. Now we're going to grab the panel number 2, gonna flip it like that and put it in. There we go. Next step would be to secure the panels. We're gonna grab the round locks. There's gonna be 6 of them, so 2 on that side, 2 on this side, and then 2 on this side. Now we're gonna do the same thing as we did for the bottom of the panel. We're gonna grab the screws. We're gonna put them in. So the trick with them is, if the plastic is not going in, we're gonna undo the screw a little bit, then push it in. This is the trick I learned. Again, we're gonna undo the screw just a little bit to loosen up the plastic, and then we're gonna push it in. Once it's pushed in all the way, now we can twist the screw. Next step is we're going to grab 2 panels number 9. Grab a couple of round locks. Yep. Put one in. The second one. Key thing to remember, make sure the logs are facing inside. There we go. Perfect. Now we're going to assemble the drawers. We're going to take the front, the high gloss panel. When you guys, well, obviously going to be assembling on the floor, just make sure, because it's high gloss, they do put protective film on it to make sure, you know, there is no scratches. But make sure that there is like no, you know, like loose pieces on the carpet or on the floor, because it might damage the surface. So we're going to take, again, one of these panels. We're going to take 2 side panels, number 12 and 13, and we're going to take the back panel, number 14. Once the screws are installed, we're going to take panel number 13 and 12. Make sure the slits align. We're going to secure the back with the locks. Same thing as we did before. We're going to take this panel, put it in, secure with the locks. Number 18. And we're going to do the same thing for all the 4 screws. Next step is to get the tracks for the drawers. We're going to put them on the bottom of the drawer. We're going to make sure that the wheel is facing down. And then we're going to secure it with 2 screws. Hole number 1, 2, 3. And then hole number 1, 2, 3. We're going to do the same thing for the other side. And now the next drawer is going to be assembled in exactly the same way. Next step is we're going to install panel number 1. We're going to do the same thing that we did for the previous panels. We're going to install the screws. There's going to be, I believe, 8 screws and 8 wooden pegs. Now we're going to grab the panel. Make sure that these holes are facing towards us. align it with, there we go. Now it's time for the this little guy. It's panel number 15. We're gonna install, there's gonna be 4 screws mixed with the wooden pegs. By the way, we have to put the stand on the back. I found that to be most efficient way, but you guys can, you know, do whichever way you like. Make sure it's aligned. Yep, there we go. Now we're gonna lock it in with the round locks. There's gonna be 4 holes, and we're almost done with the assembly. Now it's time for panel number 5 and number 6. I'm gonna grab both panels. Make sure that these holes are facing up. Let me just zoom out. There we go. Now we're gonna install the brackets for the glass. Make sure that the brackets are facing the right direction. They're supposed to be facing that way. Same gonna go for this one. We're gonna take 16 and 17. We're gonna pre-install the screws with the wooden pegs. Once all 4 panels are assembled, we're gonna put them in. Like that. We're gonna do exactly the same thing for this one. Secure them with the locks. Okay, last step is we're gonna attach the side panel to the top panel. Align the screws. There we go. We're gonna secure it with the same round locks we did before. Now we're gonna do exactly the same thing for this side, and we're almost done. Okay guys, so now it's time for the glass. Pretty self-explanatory. We're gonna take 2 pieces, install it on the left and on the right. We got the LED, they're gonna go onto the glass. My advice is that, so the LEDs sometimes might be a little bit loose on the glass. So if I were you, well now, I mean this one is pretty firm, but sometimes it might be a little bit loose. So just push it together this way, like this. This way it's going to be nice and firm on the glass and it won't be sliding.